Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Writer's Mind. I'm your host, Stevie Lois. Today I thought we'd talk about writing process. How do we do it? Like just actually physical do it. We each have our own system. We each have our own style. We each have our own voice. We're all unique. And our system, but when it comes down to it, what we do is almost basic, at least on the outside. We write. We put words to paper. We type words. Basic, right? But it's the why behind it. And I think for sometimes when we understand that, kind of helps us understand why we do it or how we do it. For myself, I started writing again back in 08, 09. I wasn't published. I published like around 2011, but I first started doing it. I did it by hand because it was just easier than doing a computer sometimes. Just grab a notebook and just write it. And I found for me on a computer, because I talk fast, that's because I talk like my mind's working. I have to force myself to something. My mind goes 100 miles an hour. I speak like that. And a lot of times my mouth can't keep up. My mind will be a couple thoughts ahead of my mind. My mouth is trying to get there. So I have to force myself to go slower. And for me, that's what handwriting does. Because if I'm on a computer, I'll have an idea. I'll be writing. They're like, hey, what about this? And I kind of space down, write the news, write another idea. And then it's like, try to go back. Well, what about the, and I'll kind of jump back and forth. And I knew this early on. I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Let's avoid that. And I wanted to focus. I want to force myself to focus on what I was writing right here in this scene. And so I decided I'm going to handwrite it, give it a shot at that, see how that works. And anyone who's seen any of my samples, my handwriting is horrible. I print because my cursive is absolutely out of this world horrible. And my printing is migraine inducing. So I'm like, my mom had beautiful handwriting. I did not inherit that from her, obviously. Lucky me, right? Especially when it comes to transcribing it. But it allowed me to focus on those scenes. Like I said, I would spend a few hours like at the library for 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever, and I would write a full chapter. I'd do it for like 8 to 10 pages. That was my cutoff in the paper. And I'd be like, okay, I want to do at least 10 pages of it. And I would have to stop and think, well, what else can I add to this? There's only like 5 pages. There's only 4 pages. Excuse me, there's only 6 pages. What can I add to this? And sometimes it's another character. Sometimes it's another idea what they could do. And I would take my time, plan it out in my head, and I would start writing it. I could go more into the description, more into dialogue. Excuse me. Things like that. But it would make me focus on and complete the scene. So I did that for probably like a third of my books, 2/3 of my books. But then around 2015, when I wrote the slasher experience, I did it both. I did it both on the paper and in the computer, and it came a little faster. My chapter shrunk. My word count shrunk. I went from like 80 to 100 plus K down to 60K, 50 to 60K. You can kind of tell when I was doing the computer, when I did the hand. It just is what it is. What does that mean? I haven't figured out yet. But I started doing the computer. I also started on handwriting. And then merge the two, and I actually, developed. That's what I kind of found. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can write fast on the computer, but it's also easy to get distracted. And the handwriting, I still like doing that just because it kind of helps ground me with it. It helps keep me focused more. But I have learned cheats, like in the middle of a chapter. I'm like, ooh, I have an idea I should have put in this part, and I'll put like a little, like this line across and an asterisk and write the scene. And at the end, I say this goes with this section, like a little note for myself. So when I do type it up, I just plug that in. But it's almost manual when going back and forth, but it's an interesting experience. It's just trying different things. The handwriting is fun. I always love the handwriting. It's great. It's great exercise. It keeps me focused. It doesn't help my handwriting at all, but it's like it helps me focus on that too. Like trying to make it legible because I've got to read this, and if I can't read it, no one else is going to read it. So it's just a bunch of different things. So it's like it helps me keep more focused on the story, and to hopefully tell the story better. What works for you? Do you prefer handwriting? Do you prefer the computer? Is there another method? Do you like a word processor? What do you find works best for you and helps keep you focused and tell your best story? Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.